Would anybody else like to do the intro?
No.
Oh, because you're in your new special corner. You're too good for the intro.
Why not do the fucking intro? Okay. Good evening and welcome to another episode of the original Trilogy podcast with myself, Jake Martin, and my co-hosts.
Oh,
Gaz?
hello, hi.
And
Hello, I'm Ben.
Fuck me, that was terrible.
my co-host,
terrible.
my co-host, hi and hello. We're very happy to be here.
Shall we try that again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do that again. Hey, good evening. Fucking. Good evening and welcome to another episode of the original Trilogy podcast with myself, Jake Martin, and my co-hosts.
Gaz Brookfield here. Hello.
And I'm Ben, or B-Sydes.
Excellent. Boys, how are you this week? What have you been up to?
Pretty good. Thank you very much. Yes, actually ridiculously good. Having a very positive vibe going on since about this time last week. Can't explain it. Just feeling happy.
Amazing.
Lovely. And you,
That's
Sydes? How's life?
Yeah, same old, I suppose. Plugging away. Yeah,
Well,
can't
I'm
complain.
glad-
How about you, mate?
I'm doing really well, and I'm glad you're all really happy because we decided not to do our rule of three this week, if I'm correct. We decided to talk about each other because we're arrogant sons of bitches and we're all in love. So this week's episode, ladies and gents, is fond memories of each other. Cue the jazz music. Okay, so I have no idea how we're going to attack this, really. I guess we'll just kind of maybe go around in a circle and tell one story each. Gaz, you're the senior member of the group, so I think you should go
Careful there, Sonny.
Mind yourself, Sonny Jim.
Well, look, so okay, I think the real reason that we wanted to talk to each other about each other this week really is because it's been so long since we last did a gig that it's been ages since anyone's blown smoke up our asses. So we thought we'd just do it to each other. Is that right? No. In all seriousness, no. It's been almost exactly 1 year since the first lockdown began at the time of recording. And therefore it's been just over that amount of time since any of us did a gig together. And it was together, was one of the last gigs we did, I think, wasn't it? I mean, we were all together at that gig in Leeds, but Jake wasn't playing it. It was just me and Sydes, wasn't it?
I just came to drink your rider, to be honest.
And you did?
I did.
But like, yeah, so it's been a year. It's been absolutely insane that it's been that long. So I think it's nice to take a little stroll down memory lane and remember the good times.
Okay, what's your first good time memory?
Day that I met you.
Oh, but that was oh no, it wasn't separate days, was it?
Well, technically I met Sydes first because I met him at 2000 Trees, introduced myself after his set.
Wait, let's never speak of this day ever again.
Yeah, Jake wasn't there. It was a simpler time. But yeah, the three of us, our first gig together is what I'm really saying, is that gig at the Haymakers in Cambridge, 2014?
It was, yeah. I found old pictures of that today. Like, I was going through old pictures to...
I tell you what, through the magic of Zoom and iMovie, we should put those pictures on the screen now.
Go tech team.
But you've got to email me those pictures, Sydes.
Yeah. Now I've got to remember to do it. Awesome.
Yeah, I can see this is going to fall down at the first hurdle, isn't it? But no, that was a crazy fun night. It was an enduring memory of Jake. Jake introduced himself to me and to the room by saying, "Good evening, everyone. My name's Jake Martin. This is a song called Don't Take Shit From."
Oh man, I remember that.
And I'll never forget.
Wow.
I thought anyone who starts a set like that is all right by me. And and that was that. So that was brilliant. And obviously you played as well. And then much fun and alcohol was had. And the rest, as they say, is history. But I'll never forget that night.
That was a great night. And I remember I made a faux pas that night because originally, obviously Sydes and I went to college together, which we've mentioned in previous episodes. However, I was not a sensible lad at college, so my memories are quite hazy. So I introduced myself to Sydes that night. So I was like, "Hey, buddy, Jake, nice to meet you." And just, I got that fucking face.
Unbelievable. I can't believe this bullshit.
Like 10 minutes later, it's like, oh,
it was a great night.
the guy that beat in the early 2001 band competition. That's who you are.
Still hurts. Still hurts, man.
No, that was an awesome night. Okay, so for our listeners or viewers, that particular venue and pub at the time was being run by my brother Rob, who's a mutual friend of all of us. And I seem to remember that Rob told me that he woke up and you'd gone for a bit of a sleepwalk and set off the fire alarm or the.
Oh, that was that night. Yeah.
Cool. Sides. Let's move on to you.
Well, if we're doing group memories, I'll go with when we went to Wales and had a little fanboy session over Hot Fuzz when we were on tour.
That was a good day. I deliberately drove us from one gig to another a long way just so that we could go through Wales.
Which is, for anybody that isn't as geeky as us, where Hot Fuzz was filmed.
I'm going to stick some pictures up of this day in the thing.
Oh my god, that was so obviously. Wasn't there was a fairground in there, wasn't there? So we did, like, a lot of this. We were like kind of pissed off, but we got to go to the hotel, didn't we? Like the reception desk.
Yeah, the pub and like the what's it called?
The castle thing.
Yeah, that's the one.
Do you remember that poor lad behind the counter? It was like we don't want a meal, we just want to kind of pop in, and then in unison all just went a great big bushy beard. He was like, oh, more of you people.
And then we went on to that sort of little castle thing on the hill where the picture that we're using for the thumbnail for this episode was.
Is that the mump or the hump?
The same day.
The mump, I think it was by Rob Talbot's old house, wasn't it?
Yeah, in his garden.
Yeah, it was a Barrow Mump. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
there you go. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna do a group one as well. I didn't realize we were group, but one of my favorite memories of us at group is actually quite recent, and it was the last Groovy Fest, because that shit got messy real fast. So I think I was just coming out of my marriage, so I was quite drinky, and I think, like any good friends would, Gaz and Sides here were being very supportive and feeding me all the booze, but they were keeping up as well.
We stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like when your friends are in need, you drink. Yeah. So I remember two things very clearly. I remember at one point just there wasn't really a backstage area, if you remember. There was the fire door, and there was just like a group, some tables and chairs that were stacked on each other. So Gaz and Sides had gone walkabout by this point, and we'll get back to why later. But Gaz and I were like basically just hugging and just I love you, drunk cider talk. And at one point, I think Gaz went, oh God, if anyone takes a picture of this and puts this on Facebook, fine, and we'll insert that picture now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
And I think there's some lovely pictures of me and Sides on people's shoulders, shouting at Gaz while he's playing. Yeah. And the reason that Gaz was so hammered and that Sides was missing at that point is, of course, because after Sides had played, like professionals, Gaz and Sides went to see our good friend, Mr. and you can quack his name out. And you don't get into that man's van and come out the way that you got into the man's van. Cool. So we've gone full circle. So Gaz, do you want to go again?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what. Okay, so one of my favorite. I do a Jake memory then. One of my favorite Jake memories was the first time you and I ever went on tour together. But it was when we first decided to do a few gigs together after that initial gig in Cambridge. On the way to picking you up from the train station or wherever it was, it dawned on me that we didn't actually know each other at all. And I've got to spend the next week on the road with this guy, and he might think I'm a complete dick, and I might think he's a complete dick, and this could be a terrible few days. And what if we don't really get on? Like, what if it was just the booze? And so the first half an hour of the journey was a little bit small talky, obviously, no pun intended. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah.
And then, if you remember, Jake, we bonded immediately over the mutual hatred of a certain other. Yeah, we both realised that we had equal disdain for this person and continued to bitch about them for the rest of the tour, not just the journey, the whole damn tour. And yeah, it was just finding things to talk about in the car journey. And then we got round to, I think we'd gone through, so what bands do you like? All that sort of chat. And then suddenly just turned to, right, so who do you hate?
Yeah.
Say it on 3. I hate 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
On then, Mr. Sides, your turn.
All right. One of my favourite Jake memories was
Fuck's sake, really?
after you played at my album launch in London, and at the Monarch.
Shit.
When so it was, it was a lovely show at the Monarch, and then afterwards, we kind of, it was when I was living in London, so we just went back to Holloway and went to a kebab shop. And one of the other guys on the bill was Neil Morris, and it was discovered early on that Jake and Neil didn't quite see eye to eye.
That's funny, really, because they're both quite short.
They literally do. But yeah, the night ended in Jake rubbing his balls all over Neil's pillow outside a kebab shop. It was a wonderful moment.
I'd like to point out that is not true. That is scandalous lie. I wiped my ass on it.
There was definite balls.
Neil, I'm so sorry.
Well then, Jake, you'll go.
Okay. Yeah, this is another group one. It's the night in Leeds.
Yes.
With the green shots.
This is on my list as well.
Do you know what? It was on my list as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so glad I got in first.
Because I was trying to remember. I found the photo, and I was trying to think, what is that drink that you introduced us to?
So we went to a tequila bar. And when you go to like a proper posh tequila bar, you don't do the salt and lemon shit because it's disgusting. You have a chaser with it called Sangrita. I think it's Sangrita.
That's the one.
So yeah, and there's like a pineapple one, and there's like a red one, and the green one I'd never had before. I think it was like cucumber and chili. It was fucking lush. If you remember, my friend from Cambridge, Nick, who lives in Leeds, came to that show and got really drunk and was like, I love you. You contribute. Musicians are the greatest. And he took us to that bar and he was like, none of you are paying for drinks. Like, I'm paying for all your drinks. If you remember, like he just kept on bringing just trays of tequila to the table. So we drank it all. And then if I remember, Sides, and please insert picture now, ate a calzone, I think at least the size of his head, if not bigger.
Yes.
And Gaz finished it.
That's one of my fondest memories of you guys. It was just a night of good banter. The show was weird, if I remember, but it wasn't bad.
It was good. It was a good show in Leeds, but it was the one where it was like bang, 11, boom, lights on, get out.
Yeah. Oh yes, it was the Fox and Newt.
But now this is the other thing as well. Was that the night? And also, forgive me if we've covered this on the podcast before. It's something I'm sure we would have spoken about. Is that the night that we met Steve?
Yeah.
Travelodge.
Yeah,
Steve.
we have talked about it, I think.
Was that Travelodge Steve night?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was an epic evening, which I will remember forever. So, listeners and viewers, if we have spoken about this, we'll edit it out. If not, the story goes as such. We didn't, I think, intend to have sides on that show, but it happened anyway. It was a last minute thing. And usually if you stay in a travel lodge, like taking somebody back that isn't booked into the room so they can sleep on the carpet, it's not usually a problem. They don't even question you coming in. This guy did though. Steve, what a job's worth.
Yeah.
He would not let sides in, and he wouldn't let us in with sides. He wouldn't, he was just a knob.
Yeah. Well, eventually we got it done after, I think you were feeling a bit ill. I think you needed to
I was just fucking livid and wanted to go to bed, I think.
So yeah. I went quite hard at it.
Understandably.
And eventually he was like, okay, fine, just go. And there had been talk of a bribe. I was like, look, dude, if I just put 50 quid in your hand now, will you shut up and let us go to sleep? So Sides and I are finally walking up and the door goes open and he's like, lads, about that bribe. And I was like, oh, fuck's sake, hand into pocket. Like, here we go. I knew he wouldn't do it in front of the cameras. And he just looks at us and goes, name's Steve. 5-star review. Like, what was it you wanted it on? Like
TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor. Yeah, was it Steve? TripAdvisor. 5 stars, please, lads. It's like, yeah, I'll be doing that, buddy.
Yeah.
And I think if you remember when we got to the Travelodge in Manchester Piccadilly Travelodge, one of the best in the country. Certainly got one of the best views of Piccadilly and everything. It's lovely. And you've got to like step over 20 drunks to get through the front door after the gig. It's incredible. But we asked them, is it okay if we have an extra person in the room who's not on the list tonight? Because we brought you to that too. And they were like, yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
Thus proving that Steve in Leeds was just being a job's worth. And he even used the phrase, "It's more than my job's worth."
Is that the night I think me and you were having a smoke? And I have this habit of like just going out barefoot. And there's this drunken stag party.
No, that was in Nottingham. That was Nottingham.
Nottingham.
Yeah.
Man, that was fun.
Yeah. A guy gave you his shoes.
Yeah, there was like, like you see a situation's arising, you're like, oh, this isn't going to go well. Lads, drink. Oi, 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 what? And I was like, yeah, what's up, mate? Aren't you cold without any shoes on? And I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's not going to be a fight. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'm literally just out for a cigarette. He's like, no, won't hear of it. And started taking off his shoes and trying to put his shiny, like, nice wedding shoes on me. What a lovely man. Yeah. I thought he was going to punch my face. We've gone full circle. It's Mr. Brookfield's turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we've done a couple of stories about Jake and a couple of group ones. I'll do one of Sides. I particularly enjoyed our hunt for the Parmo.
Yes.
When we were in Newcastle on tour nearly 2 years ago now. We were told of the mystical Parmo. So after the gig, we got back to the hotel, chucked everything in, and went out into town to try and find somewhere that sells Parmos. And we asked the counter, and they said, "Oh, there's one just over there. It's the best one in town." I dispute that now.
Really?
Well, I can't believe that what we had was the best version of that food.
It's the only one we've had, so it's the best one.
We've got no comparison.
Yeah.
Logic in your face.
For anyone who doesn't know what a Parmo is, A, where the hell have you been? But B, so it's basically a chicken schnitzel. It's like chicken in breadcrumbs, flat. And that's then treated as if it were the base of a pizza, because it's then covered in cheese. It's covered in cheese and peppers, and I think pretty much whatever you want. It's a bit like a pizza. You can have more or less anything you like. I expect there is a traditional Parmo, like there is a traditional pasty or a traditional pizza, but it's like a fast food thing that's very specific to the Northeast, and it is fucking spectacular when you're drunk. So yeah, I just enjoyed that night because we then ended up going back to the hotel with our Parmos, triumphant and very drunk, and sat in our hotel room, which was incredibly warm. So we stripped off to just our pants, and we were eating Parmos in your pants, and then the new TV program of Parmos in your pants, which is merely a conceptual one, but it exists in our minds and briefly on a tour diary. So Parmos in your pants, that was a great night.
That was awesome. That was.
Okay, I feel like I haven't done a Sides memory yet, but this is just nothing embarrassing at all. This is just a lovely memory I have of you, which was 2000 trees. So first of all, you fed me because I had no food, which was wonderful. So you bought me, I think, probably the best burrito I've ever had. We just had a lovely day. Like, we hung out with Heartwork, who was smashing the lawnmower to every band that he was watching. Oh mate, like if you not,
yes.
And I think I remember we kind of got but you must have played around 1 o'clock, I think 1 a.m.
Yeah, something like that.
When I think about one song in, the voice just disappeared, and it was just this lovely moment because obviously at that point in 2000 Trees, everyone watching knows you, so the crowd just did it for you, and it was just this like doing it was such a lovely day of just general matiness and well executed debauchery, and followed by this like lovely moment that when you lost your voice because you were literally on it like a boss from 7 a.m. Everyone was,
and that was like day 4 of the festival.
No, you'll never learn your lesson about going too hard too soon at Trees, but day 4, you have every excuse to be ruined by then.
Oh my God, like that was brilliant. So when we did the Root Rock show, like Gig in the Field, which was between the lockdowns, Sides had a few before he played, and he was introducing the song about forgetting his lyrics, 2000 Trees, and then started and can remember the first line when they running up stage. It's like, I can't, Sides.
Oh, the irony.
Nailed it from then. Cheers, buddy.
Dude, you smashed it.
That was slightly embarrassing. And while I spent that whole set being chased around the stage by wasps.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about the wasps. Like,
no shit,
yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely Side's turn.
Well, I'll do a story about Gaz then. It's not an embarrassing tale. I was just one of the days on tour last year. I think it was when we were on our way to Colchester, and we went to the decommissioned nuclear bunker.
Yeah,
you absolutely loved. You had the absolute best time, and I was shitting my pants and just presumed that we were like, yeah, we'd gone into our death essentially, because it was the weirdest place in the world. Like, no one around, completely silent, just going down and down and down into the ground, just not seeing another soul for ages. And yeah, and then suddenly seeing people and being like,
suddenly seeing a gift shop.
Yeah, and then a massive kitchen where that had way too much food, like cooking like 1 million roasts or whatever.
They were cooking long pig.
Yeah,
and it was just really The Hills Have Eyes. Everything about it was very horror film.
But Gaz was like giddy.
I love that shit.
Absolutely loving it. Like, take my picture. I have my picture here, and I'm just like, can we get the fuck out of here? This is giving me the willies.
Do you remember the time we all went to Crocodiles of the World?
Oh, that's on my list. That's on my list.
And we can all talk about it. So, Crocodiles of the World.
Before?
It was Sides what chose it, because I said to you guys, we were on the way to a gig, and I said, if you see one of those brown information signs on the side of the road, shout, and we'll go to it, because they're usually interested, whatever they are. And Sides shouts, Crocodiles of the World. On that handbrake turn, what did you say?
Yeah. And again, you had an amazing time. You had you got your picture taken with a little baby.
I've got a picture. I've got a fridge magnet with a photograph of me holding a baby crocodile. And this is the day that we found out that Jake was afraid of crocodiles.
And how?
I think afraid is kind of underset. Like, I would say phobic would be like, yeah. And for a fucking good reason. Yeah. I expected a slightly inappropriate model of, like, you know, a French crocodile in a beret and a Mexican crocodile in a sombrero, and I expected to be offended but not scared. There's one big tank of crocodiles, and you know, they're all in tanks so you can see through them, and it's only like from the surface of the water to the top of the glass is only about 4 feet. And there's a big sign, and it says the jumping crocodile. And there's this picture of a fucking crocodile like flying out of the water, just taking a gull out of the air like it's nothing. And it's like the jumping crocodile can jump up to 11 feet. And I'm looking at the surface of the water, the crocodile that's fucking next to me, and the picture, and I'm just like, boys, I'm fucking out. I'm going.
You tapped out.
I went and had a nice little panic attack in the car for an hour while Gaz had his picture taken with a baby crocodile.
Come on then, let's wrap it up. It's been an absolute pleasure again to chat to you guys. It is one of the things that's kept me sane through the last few months. Certainly, having video chats with you guys almost daily has really helped the 3 lockdowns go by smoothly for me mentally and everything. So thank you for that.
Thank you both as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Jake, tell them where they can get the podcast.
You can get the podcast on all the places that you'd expect to find a podcast. You can go on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music. You can also go directly to our Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/totcast, TOTcast. And you can also do it on the YouTubes, which, if you're old like me, is the safest way to navigate the internet. You just type it into the search bar and boom, our faces. Until the next time, we love you guys. Thank you very much. Leave your suggestions in the comments, and we'll see you for the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.